Well, thanks everybody. Appreciate the time that everybody's taken out of their day to join us on this. It's been interesting sitting back and watching the people talk. They've been talking about their robots and their end arms. We're going to talk about how can we protect the person from the robot and the robot from the person. So it's a slightly different take, and that will lead into some of the things that are coming in later. So when you're looking at a robot cell, you basically have options available to you. Probably your go-to one that most of us are used to is using welded steel structures. Now those come with a whole heap of things that you need to learn. You need to be able to measure and cut the struts, the steel struts accurately. You've got to drill holes. You've got to weld them together. You've got to be able to dress the welds. You then got to powder coat them, prep the holes, and then do any touch-up. So it's quite a labor-intensive process. Lately, bolted steel has been coming into the fray because people no longer have the skills to do the welding. But with the bolted steel, you still have to do all the measuring, drill the holes accurately, do the prepping and everything. The third area that's really starting to take off is using extruded aluminum. Now, with extruded aluminum, the process is actually simpler. What you would do is you measure and cut the struts. You attach the pieces together using the fastening system, insert any drop-in nuts for the attachments. So it then drops down any holes or whatever you need to do. And then you wipe down and you're ready to go. You don't have to do any painting around it because the aluminum doesn't rust. So you're basically taking a whole section out of the equation there. The problem being is not all extruded aluminum systems are equal. With us, robot units, we do belt conveyor systems, power roller conveyor systems. We have a material handling system. We have a linear motion system. We have fencing systems, the extrusions, the fastening technology, and the multifunction accessories. Now, these last three areas here, the aluminum extrusions, the fastening technology, and the accessories, this is what differentiates traditional and robot units. So I'm just going to talk a little bit now about history of robot units and then a traditional against the robot unit system, and then I'll give you some practical demonstrations to show you how it all works. Robot units was established originally in 1987. We were a machine integrator and we used traditional aluminum products that were available. What we actually found was when you're using them, you need a high number of SKUs. Often there was extra engineering required, whether it be drilling holes, whether it be cutting, whether it be tapping. We also found that there was vibration issues because of the way that the fastening systems worked on a traditional system. The units that were in high vibration areas had a tendency to loosen. There was a lot of waste. So what we did, our engineers adopted a lean approach. And we basically we wanted to reduce the number of SKUs. We wanted to eliminate any engineering that was required, any extra engineering, eliminate the vibration issues, and then reduce and eliminate the waste. So when you look at our philosophy, our definition of lean is the elimination of waste. And our definition of waste is everything that does not add value to our customers, whether that be drilling a hole, whether that be tapping the ends, anything that you have to physically do once you've bought this product that does not add value to you. So we want to do more with less. In a traditional system, as I said before, the high number of individual parts and there's limited application possibilities. With our system, we have reduced that by using multifunctional parts, which still allows you to make the applications as you can. The other thing you'll find is in a traditional system, everybody's extrusions, etc., are all different. Ours, we actually build all of our products based off the same MES, which is our modular automation system. It's 12 sizes. So that's all you have for us. And everything is all based off of there. So no matter what you're building, everything will actually work with each other. Our extrusions, we have the same core extrusions for everything, for framing systems, conveyors, linear motion, lift stations, fencing systems, everything are the same core extrusions that we use. Same with our drop-ins. We have the same design, same style of drop-in nut. The only differences between them is whether they're EMC compliant or the thread size that's in there. So again, you're not having tons and tons of different products. The connector technology, now this is what's key. The connector technology, how we use it is totally different to what you've probably seen in the marketplace. Ours, we have a common connector for each range of product. We have no extra machining requirements once you've done it. And then we do multifunctional accessories. That is the three areas, as I said, the extrusions, the connector technology, and the multifunctional accessories are the three areas that are actually the differentiator between all the companies. So what I'm going to show you now is I'm going to end the show here at this point. I'm going to stop the sharing of this. And what I want to show you now is how our technology is different. If you take our extruded aluminum, this is our 40 by 40 series, and this is our 50 by 50 series. So you can see I hold them up together. You can see they're totally different in size-wise. However, there are some things that are common. The first thing is the T-slot. This T-slot that we have is the longest and biggest T-slot in the industry. It is 14 millimeters wide and 14 millimeters deep. Now, it's also V-shaped. Okay, so what that allows is it means that you can do post-assembly by using the drop-in nuts without having to take the frame apart. So for instance, if you see behind me here, I have an assembly made up. If I wanted to make a change to this, I would not have to take it all apart. All I would have to do is disconnect the areas that I need, put the drop-in nuts, and I could reassemble the thing really, really quickly, really, really easily. The other thing is it's designed to take standard Allen keys. So any standard Allen key will go in here right up to an M10. So you can see we've got a bigger size key. It'll go in there and you can get a good torsion on there. We have 12 extrusions. Every single product that we make can be made using these 12 extrusions. Okay. And they go from 16 by 40 all the way up to 200 by 200. It covers 95% of what needs to be built. They're fully compatible with each other. So it means I can take a 50 millimeter series and a 40 millimeter series, put them together real easy. And I'll give you a demonstration on how that works. Our drop-in nuts. This is the other big thing. These can be inserted post-assembly. Now, what I want to show you is a lot of times you've probably been used to using drop-in nuts that when you put them in to the actual unit, they slide and they fall out. Ours, if you can see here, there is a leaf spring on the end. Now, what happens is when I insert the nut into the unit, I twist it around and it engages with the leaf spring. Now what that means is this unit, as you can see, I'm shaking it up and down. This T-nut does not move. However, I can slide it up and down with my finger. Now this is really important when I'm building, especially if I'm building on the vertical, because now I don't need 4 pairs of hands to find the nut, put it up. It's actually in place before I put the mating part onto it. How does it all come together? So let's take our 40 by 40 series. I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to connect it to this piece. This is going to be my main piece. So the first thing that we do is we would buy the fastener kit. Everything you get from Robotunits through EandM, we buy as a kit to try and make it easier for our customers. So when you buy the fastener, what you get is you get the fastening bolt, you get the locking piece, you also get 2 drop-in nuts and 2 bolts. So everything you need to do the job is all contained in the one package. So you don't have to buy extra parts just to get the things going. So the first thing you do is you take the end piece and you take your fastener. The fastener then slides in to where the T-slots are. I then take my bolt, tighten her up using my Allen wrench, and I give it a big torque. That's the first piece done. Already done, tight. Second thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my drop-in nuts and I'm going to put them into the mating part. As I said, you just drop them in, twist them, and they're locked in place. Now both the bolts are in. Drop-in nuts are in there, they won't move. Now, one of the things you want to notice is when you look at this fastener, you will see that the fastener has a shoulder in the middle. Now, what that is designed for is when I drop that into my unit, it is now holding the unit on a 90-degree angle. What it is also doing is when I slide in my drop-in nuts, my drop-in nuts have a hard spot where it's actually lined and stopped. Take my bolt, tighten her up, one side, tighten her up on the other side. And that's it done. You can see, will not move. So literally takes, you know, a minute to get the whole thing put together. There's no extra machining needed. And if you've used traditional systems in the past, you'll probably know that if I've got a fastener in there, I usually have to drill a hole, or I have to drill holes here for the anchor bolts. Don't have to do that. What it also means is that if I wanted to change this piece, I can take this piece out and reuse it. I don't have to scrap that. If I wanted to reposition it, all I need to do is slacken off the T-nuts. What I can do is I can slide that up to whatever position that I want it to go. Now I'm going to put it on at the end position here for a simple reason. There's one little thing I want to show you at the end of the presentation to show you something else. So this will mean that I'm already set up. So that's our 40 series. Our 50 series, the technology behind it is the exact same, but because it's a bigger unit, the actual fastener is a little bit different. What we have here is we've got the same technology in terms of you've got a little insert that have got the shoulder parts in here. On the end, I don't know if you can see this, but on the end, there are little trapezoid nubs. These are designed now to go in, and they will actually fix into the holes on the extrusion. So when I put that in now, what's going to happen is these are going to locate themselves onto the extrusion. So now that unit is not going to twist. Same as what we did with the other one. We take the bigger bolt this time, screw it in. Now I'm locked in place. As we did with the other unit, I'm going to take our little handy dandy insertion tool. I'm going to show you how you can actually put this in. Now, if I'm on the vertical, I can drop this unit in here, twist it, and now I'm locked in place. Do the same with the other one. Put the part on here, slide her in, bolts go in, exact same way as they did with the other unit. Now, what's worth noting is when I press down, I don't know again if you can see this, but when I press down here, because the way that our unit is designed, what's happening is as I'm tightening it, the form locating is playfully, and what it's doing now is it's giving you consistency on the actual positioning, and it's taking the forces as you're putting them down because of the convex, it's spreading those forces, giving you a good solid connection. All right. When you use a robot units part, when you buy it, all you have to do is you have to tell us what length you want it, what series you're going to be using. When you buy it through EandM, through ourselves, whoever, what will happen is these parts will be cut to length. They will also be pre-drilled and pre-tapped. There will be a label put on here with your part number, what the unit is, if there's a drawing, what position it's going to be in. So it's identified so that you can take it and use it straight out of the box. We've heard the word Lego being used. This really is Legos for engineers. You know, you can build these things up, a constructor set. You know, you've all done that for your kids at Christmas. If you can build Legos, you can build this. It really is that simple. EandM are going to be mirroring everything that we do. So they will actually, on a local level, be able to do all of this for you out of their headquarters in California, which is great because then you'll have a local source that can give you support and you'll be able to get localized deliveries and quick delivery times. We talked about multifunctional accessories. This is how we can do it. Let us take the humble T-nut cover. Sometimes when you're doing robotic work, 15.6 standard says that you need to identify your fencing as being yellow. So what we do is we have a little cover plate, and basically all you do is it slips in, slides in, and now it identifies it as being yellow. Okay. Now that's the first thing that it does. So it keeps that nice and clean. Okay. What it also does though is if I'm putting in a sensor, it allows me now to run my cabling behind, and it'll take up to an M12 cable. So now I'm protecting any cables that are in there, okay, which is really important. So that's the second function that it does. If I, instead of fitting it this way, I'm going to fit this black one in. If I fit it this way, it snaps in, as you can see. It can run as a cable grip. So you could run it that way and it will keep your cable in place. But it also can be used for taking your polycarb, slide the polycarb in there, and now it holds the polycarb in place. So you can see the multifunctionality of it, and this is the same with all of our products. They are all designed to be interchangeable, so you don't need to use different ones. So if I was using a 200 by 200, I'd still use these accessories because these T-slots are common on all the range. Last thing I wanted to show you was, we're going to take one of our conveyor systems. Again, our conveyor system, this is a flat belt conveyor. It is based around our 40 by 40 frame. If you remember the little part that I made up earlier. So how do we attach this to this product? Because there's two different products. Well, again, very simple, very straightforward. What we have is we have a gusset. This gusset comes with inserts. You drop the insert in, take your T-nut, put your T-nut in place on the actual channel that you want to put it. Whoops. It's not easy doing this upside down. So now my T-nut's in place. Take my bolt. And attach this to my T-nut. Nip her up. Exact same thing at this side. Take my T-nut in, drop my nut. Into the actual unit. Put my bolt through it. Tighten her up. And now I've just added a web that I can put my camera vision system on there by using the same components and the common components. Okay, so that's the kind of things that you can do. You could put your vision system on here, you can fit sensors to it or anything like that. And this is how it's all designed to be interchangeable with each other. Just going to head back now to the presentation. So this gives you some idea of what you can do. As you can see, we've got a robot here. This is an ABB robot, large robot, working around. We built a whole frame structure around it. Even down to your cobots, you can build little base units. You can see here. You can build complete systems here. This has got a fencing system. It's also got our bases, and it's also got our conveyor system. And there's another complete solution. And I'm just going to play this one so you can see what you can do. And you can see that's a large robot. This is this ABB robot here. So just by using our system, you can see that is not moving, shaking or anything like that. So it's actually designed to do all these things. This is a riveting machine. So there's a lot of high vibration. It didn't actually, it doesn't take the unit and slacken off. So with that, I'd like to say thank you. I'm going to end the show now, and I think we've probably got about 8-9 minutes that I can open up for any questions that anybody has.
You were right on the money there, Henry. It was exactly 8 minutes, and you said 8 minutes. And we do have a handful of questions. So the first one that came in, is aluminum extrusion as strong as traditional welded steel?
That's a really good question. It is. There is a myth out there that you always have to oversize things and make the channel. Because the way that the unit is made, because of the honeycomb design, there is strength all within this area here. So that will give you the strength and rigidity, and it will perform every bit as good. So a 50 by 50, a 2x2 will actually perform as good, if not outperform, a 2x2 mild steel frame. So yes, it is as strong. And when you look at the fastening technologies, it's as strong, if not stronger, than actually doing a permanent weld. But the upside to that is aluminum is an awful lot lighter. If I was to take a standard length bar of each of them, the material for an aluminum one would probably be in the region of 30 to 50% lighter. So it means it's easier to handle. And instead of having 3 or 4 people to do something, you can do it with less amount of people.
Awesome. Next question is, how easy is it to integrate the Robo units products with something I already have on my factory floor?
Another good question. And I'm going to go back to this. And the reason I'm going to go back to this is, say you've got a competitor's product here. You can use this gusset to attach the robot units to the actual gusset on the other side. So all that would happen is, what you would do is, if you take the gusset, and I showed you earlier on when I was putting it together, that we have the little inserts. So these inserts, if I was using another company's extrusion system, all I would need to do is take the gusset without the insert on there, set it on here, and I could go straight through onto the other company's T-nut. Similarly, if I was going on a solid surface, then I can use this to attach onto the solid surface, just drill a hole and then just be able to tap through onto that. So it's real simple to actually use our product on other non-robot units products.
Awesome. Super simple. Really build on top of your other products with your Lego.
Yeah.
And then another interesting question. This person's used aluminum extrusions in the past and had some problems with the bolts loosening. So how does Robo units address that problem?
Another good question, and another question that's very common. The way that we do it is all down to the fastening technology. Let me just take this off so I can get to it. So if you remember when I showed you how the fasteners work, it is because the way that we design things, the fastener is attached to the end of the extrusion. So it's actually like an extension of the extrusion itself. So when you tighten these bolts down, what happens is the forces open up, but because of the convex shape, it spreads out, much like when you would use a spring washer, only you don't need to use the spring washer. It's the same effect. So what it's doing now is it's making a deflection. So everything now is on a flat surface and binds tight together. So it's mimicking what happens when you're doing the welding. So that's how our units don't do it. Plus on the heavier gauge units that I showed you, we've got the little nubs that when you put it in together, those little trapezoidal nubs basically locate in each of these holes here, which again gives you that rigidity.
Awesome. So just a new technology.
New technology, yeah. I mean, it was interesting because when we were first doing this, we actually designed this, went to the traditional manufacturers and said, hey, you know, we've designed this, would you like to use it? They all said no, so that's how we formed Robotunits. And so far, we're one of the fastest growing companies within the industry.
That's awesome. And then let's see, there's a couple of extra questions coming in.
Yeah.
So how do Robo units, how do you ensure the compatibility across all of the different sizes of your products?
It all comes down to the technology that I said at the start, which is the extrusions. Now, although our extrusions are different sizes in terms of 50 by 50, 40 by 40, what is common on everything is this 14 millimeter. So every single one, if I put this next to it, you will see it is the exact same size. So that is how we are able to, instead of having 30 or 40 different sizes, we can just come straight down and really reduce the amount of different sizes that you need. And the compatibility all comes in this portion here. So this extruded technology here is what makes a difference. So it's this gap size here. And as I said, it's the largest in the industry right now.
Awesome. Makes it super simple.
It makes it super simple. And it means now that all of our accessories are the same across the board.
Mm-hmm. I think we have time for one extra question here. Will I, end user, need to do any extra engineering with your product?
Again, another good question. And the short answer to that is you won't. Because when you take the part from ourselves or from our partners, EandM, what will happen is we will cut that to size. So you tell us what size you want it. We will cut this to size and we already pre-drill either side of the actual extrusion. So that is ready to go straight out the box. It will accept your fasteners. All you do is you pick the fasteners in, attach it to the other unit, and you're ready to go.
Awesome. Super simple.
Yep. And that's that, as I said, that'll be done in California through yourselves at your local your headquarters.
Mm-hmm. I am excited. I know we're getting that set up right now.